This is my friend Shine, and I'm so happy to have you here at the District House tonight. I just want to say on a personal note that I know your soul and I don't know your story. And so I'm really looking forward to getting to know your story this evening and sharing your magical, nonlinear healing medicine path with our audience. So please open the space how you wish to, and I'm here to receive that opening blessing.
Aloha. Yeah. So good. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful that you're all here, bringing your presence and your consciousness, and feel like, opening this space in a good way, and for the highest energies of love and truth to be here with us all and to unite our consciousness. So I'm going to play a flute song, and you're welcome to just close your eyes and visualize maybe a place in nature that you like to go, some animals that you like, and just that feeling of connection to Mother Earth. My friend Carlo's going to play the drum here.
So Shine is an amazing musician. He's a man of many medicines, and later in our conversation, we'll be talking more about his work with the mushroom, bufo, ayahuasca, and many others. But before we go there, we're going to take it all the way back to your Ojai origins. And I'd love to hear from you what feels valuable for our audience to know about your upbringing and your development.
Well, I was actually born in Santa Barbara, in a little cabin on the San Marcos Pass, and it was a home birth. And both of my parents are plant people. My dad is an arborist. My mom is now a landscape architect, but they both majored in horticulture and have always had an amazing garden my whole life. So since I was little, I was like picking fruit and herbs, and my mom was using natural herbal medicine, homeopathic medicine. So I've had a pretty strong connection to plants my whole life through my parents and nature. And my mom also had a German Shepherd when I was born, who kind of became my second mom. So I also had this very powerful connection to animals. And yeah, that was the beginning.
Yeah, that's so special and obviously really shaped your orientation towards having reciprocity with nature. And I feel curious when your next love of surfing came into your life and yeah, how that has shaped you too.
The surf photo up here. My surfing career kind of started when I was 2. We had to move out of our house, and we're going to move into this other house, but the real estate deal fell through. So we lived at Carpinteria State Beach for like 2 months. And I was 2, and I had my tricycle and the dog, and I found a little like broken piece of a foam surfboard, and I would just carry it around and say, "This is my surfboard." So in my heart, I think that's when it started. But yeah, I got into surfing when I was like 13, and I had boogie boarded and stuff before that. But when I started surfing, I didn't really have any support from my family. I didn't really have friends that surfed. And so it was something that was really like just for me. And I have been doing really good in school and playing sports and kind of getting all this praise and support for that part of my life. But when I would go surfing, I just started to feel this like connection and sense of fulfillment that I knew was way deeper than like all of these other things that everyone else seemed to really care about. And it really became a guiding force in my life. I went to college in San Diego so I could surf, and I started taking surf trips and traveling all around the world to surf and connect with different cultures, and really getting to experience some amazing nature and really just see life from this kind of simple, raw perspective, and see people that were like had so little but were so happy, and just these beautiful cultures. And so yeah, it's just been a beautiful experience in my life to surf.
Yeah, wonderful. And I feel curious just to touch on it now, like what you can remember about these early experiences surfing where you're tapping into flow state, and when you really started to notice that as a reoccurring experience and what that was like.
Yeah. Well, surfing, I feel, is one of the most difficult human activities there is, and it requires a lot of awareness and listening and learning, because the ocean is so powerful and so complex and always changing. And so just to begin to learn to do it, you really get humbled very quickly, where even a small wave can very strongly throw you into the ground and hold you underwater. And like, so you just learn to enter the ocean in a state of presence. And the more aware you are, the more you can tune into the waves and the movement. And when that moment comes, when you actually like catch a wave and stand up and start riding it, and you start moving in harmony with the wave, it's just this incredible like feeling of transcendence or flow state. It's like a miracle, really. You know, it is a miraculous thing to ride a wave, especially when you ride like inside the barrel and come out. It's one of the more miraculous things on earth. So yeah, it just became something that I really loved and focused on a lot.
And because I know you well now, I know your ability to receive those waves in your life, right? In the ocean or otherwise, you're really trusting and just following and surrendering the flow of energy. And I feel curious about your early psychedelic exploration and when that began for you and what other teachings came with it.
Well, my first kind of deep psychedelic experience was when I was 18. I'd gone to Brazil after I graduated high school with two good friends, and we ate magic mushrooms in the Amazon rainforest. And I just remember feeling like so much truth. And I just remember feeling like, wow, I want to tell my dad about this, and I want to like tell everyone in my family. And I could just felt like I was touching and knowing life in a deeper way than I ever had, and just something just felt amazing about that. My first ayahuasca experience was on Hawaii, and I was about to become a dad. My first baby was in the belly, and I was in the valley of Kalalau, which is like this kind of secluded paradise island where people can go out and live off of tropical fruit and drink from the water. And I met this woman from Japan by a stream one day. She's like, "You're a crystal child. Like, you need to come to this ayahuasca ceremony." And I had read about ayahuasca, so I knew what it was, but I didn't know too much about it. But anyhow, I went to the ceremony, and the same woman who invited me, so we all drink ayahuasca, and it's like a pretty big circle. It's outside. And before the medicine had really started to hit me, she started making sounds like she was going into labor. And I'm like, wow, this is really weird. Like, what's happening? And I'm just sitting there, like, not feeling too much. And then I laid down, and I put my little sheet over me, kind of went into a fetal position, and had a complete experience of being born. And I had a very vivid experience of being in the spirit world and kind of like the oneness consciousness, and coming through the birth canal and seeing how like spirit energy comes into physical through the birth, and seeing like generations of human beings coming in and out of physical back to the spiritual, and seeing some really vivid expressions on my family members' faces, like the most pain and fear they'd ever been in, but also the most joy. It was like the strongest like expressions of life. And through that experience, really being able to see both sides of the journey, sometimes I was feeling like physical pain in my body or discomfort, and I would breathe. And that was like the teaching that while you're alive, no matter what is happening, you're going to breathe. And if you just breathe through whatever pain or fear is there, you'll keep going until you stop breathing. And when you stop breathing, you go home, and you go to this place where it's just peace and ease and love, and there's nothing to be afraid of. So it was really kind of showing me that I didn't need to be afraid of life, which was a really powerful teaching as I was about to become a father. And so it really like showed me the human life experience, and it was a good one.
Wow, that's so powerful. And I feel like when you have a big psychedelic or mystical experience, that teaches you to no longer fear death, and it completely transforms the way you live. And so I understand that fatherhood is a huge initiation and has brought you so much joy and fulfillment on that path. Yeah. And I feel curious, like, what was the catalyst for all of your other world travels? I know you were following where the good surf was and where the good food is and the good people. But where else at that time were you traveling and exploring this path?
Well, when my son Paco was 2, we went to Peru, and I had been continuing my journey with plant medicine, and Peru is obviously a central part on the planet for that wisdom. And we went to Peru, and that was when I first experienced San Pedro cactus, Huachuma, and I did like a 3-day initiation with a curandero there, and went to these high mountain lakes on these little horses, and went in freezing cold water and drank San Pedro, and learned how to make San Pedro, and went surfing. You ask me where else? Pretty much everywhere where I've gone has had good waves. Actually, except the last destination, which I've been going to, which is in the Amazon. So there's not waves right there, but there's good jungle power.
Yeah. Would you like to share more about San Pedro medicine and how that is a part of your path and your offerings now?
Yeah. Yeah. So after I got back from that first trip to Peru, after that time with the shaman, I brewed San Pedro a few different times on the beach out in this desert and drank it by myself and had some very profound experiences. And when I came back, I started like looking for it here and planting it and doing some ceremonies with it. And I also, through a family friend, became part of the Native American church, which does peyote ceremonies. And I became a member of that. And those ceremonies actually taught me so much. It was like the first time I went into a teepee ceremony, I felt like I was home, like somewhere that I had remembered. And I don't think I'd ever seen human beings treat each other or just be together like I did that night. And I just saw everyone so present and sharing like so deeply, you know, about the most challenging things in their life and really offering support and just being so vulnerable and authentic and praying together and really unifying their energy to heal families and to heal the deepest things that everyone there needed to. And singing the peyote songs and just bringing so much energy through the fire and the medicine in the teepee, and just this really systematic way of using energy to connect with source energy and bring it into our lives. And yeah, that really influenced me. And as I began doing ceremonies on my own, that was a huge influence, everything I'd learned there. And I did ceremonies with San Pedro and then later with psilocybin and ayahuasca, and usually a lot of outdoor ceremonies. I really like being in nature during the ceremonies and hearing all the insects and just seeing the beauty of nature, whether it's daytime and the butterflies or the night and the stars, and just really feeling the vibration and of the insects and the wind and the frogs. And like, I know the plants like open my experience of life. I often hear more clearly or see more colors and feel the energy of things more. So to be in nature is a huge gift during those experiences.
And with your time in the Native American church ceremony practice and then your time in Peru, what are some of the similarities and differences that you've explored in their approach to medicine work?
The peyote ceremonies are really community oriented, where everyone is sitting, usually staying awake with your eyes closed, and there's more talking and praying, and it's very much like this connected community presence experience. Where with Shipibo, who we've been working with the last 4 years, their ceremony is much more internal. You know, like everything's dark. We just have one little candle, drink the medicine, everyone just lays down for a while. Eddie Bertzoy will start singing some ikaros, but people are often just kind of in their own internal experience a lot more than with peyote. I mean, peyote, you can go into your internal experience also and close your eyes, but there's a community element, and like I would say it's a little more yang, where the ayahuasca ceremonies from the Shipibo are very inward journey. Yeah.
That's interesting. And since you've brought up the Shipibo and with this image of the peace sticks too, I feel like we can take a moment and talk about that World Peace Tribe project. And yeah.
It's a good one for World Peace Tribe. So yeah, for those of you that don't know what peace sticks is, it was really a discovery that my brother and I had one day. We had eaten some psilocybin mushrooms and were on a hike in a forest, and spontaneously picked up 2 sticks and started throwing them back and forth, and just went into this really deep flow state, like in the zone. And it was just happening. We were just going and going. And when we finished, we're just like, whoa, what was that? And that was the beginning of peace sticks. And I just felt something so profound and awesome. And I was witnessing my body do things that I never had before. So I started looking for sticks and playing with people, asking them to play with me. And over time, started doing public teachings and more of the methodologies of doing the peace ceremony, which is our teaching, and just the art form itself kept evolving. And we were invited to do it at different festivals. We were at Lucidity Festival like every year, but also from there, we got invited to do it as group therapy at a rehab center in Malibu, and as corporate team building and a lot of education settings. So it's really one of the, for me, I think it's the most reliable way to bring any human being into a flow state, because you're throwing two sticks back and forth and you can do it at any level. So you can make it very easy. So pretty much everyone could at least start it within a couple of minutes. And once you're in the rhythm and you're throwing the sticks, you can increase the energy, increase the complexity to keep it kind of on your edge, which is one of the keys to going into flow state. It's like an activity that's challenging enough that you've really got to be fully present. You can't think about anything else. And so it's really like a joy getting to facilitate and bring people into flow state, which is what I think the plant medicines do also. It's like they basically help us turn off the overthinking, the judgment, all the stuff that's really clouding source energy from just coming through us and expressing. And yeah, and it's really fun. It's really good for your body. So anyhow, this is the invention of peace sticks, and started making peace sticks in the different communities where I was traveling, in Nicaragua, and then in Indonesia, and in Peru. We started a peace center called Uni Kawa with an extended family of the Shipibo tribe, and that's us. There's some pictures of us making. That's actually a picture in Bali making peace sticks. And there's Vilma carrying some sticks. And the first day that we made peace sticks was also the day we were making ayahuasca. So right there, we're chopping up the ayahuasca vine and cooking it on a big cauldron. It's like you basically cook it all day. And so right next to the pot of ayahuasca, we're making all the peace sticks. And it's just so beautiful to see, like, for the Shipibo people who are, you know, one of the most ancient carriers of the ayahuasca medicine. It is just revered as like a central part of life. And so talking about it, doing ceremony, making it with the children is just totally normal. There's absolutely no stigma on it whatsoever, because they all know that this is a healing, beneficial sacrament that helps everyone that they use to heal. And yeah, it's really beautiful. Like when we do ceremony there, oftentimes a lot of the family members and the little kids and the babies will just come, and they won't drink the medicine, but they'll just be there for the songs and sleep, and they just like being in the energy of it.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just reflecting as you were speaking, like something about you is you want to bring people into flow. And whether it's through peace sticks or medicine work or making music,
Yeah.
or just being in your embodied experience as human, I really see the purity in your desire to feel that flow state within yourself and then activate others to that, and making it possible. And I'll share personally that peace sticks is a game per Shine's invention that I feel very passionate about. And so please keep your field open for a potential workshop in 2026, bringing peace sticks to our district community, because there are so many parallels between the way you hold a peace ceremony through peace sticks and psychedelic work, with the reciprocity and prayers to nature, with the trance state that you create in the rhythm of this flow state partner practice that does require so much surrender and following the energy.
Yeah.
And one of the core teachings of Peace Sticks that I really value is around how we respond to a perceived mess up or something happening that we didn't want to happen. And the tendency is to have a lot of self-judgment and to feel harshness on ourselves. And so Peace Sticks invites a repatterning psychologically and in your body to be okay with something going a different way than you thought it was going to go. And as I play more Peace Sticks, I am exercising that skill, and it shows in my life. And I've shared before in our community that like my coordination also has increased so much where like I don't really drop things anymore. Like if something slips, like my senses, I'm just like so sharp and spatially aware. And I feel like psychedelics also bring that type of spatial awareness. So I'm really grateful for what you've created with this. And I so look forward to seeing how the community expands.
Thank you. Yeah, that was making me think of, so through the projects of Peace Sticks and the music project, Shining Lion Music, we eventually formed World Peace Tribe, which is like the canopy organization for all of our projects. And that Peace Sticks itself, I see, is like a paradigm shift from the competitive way of living to the collaborative way of living. And I do really like to look at like, what are we doing here on Earth? And when I look around and I see like, okay, the biggest budgets on the planet are for war, and these like systems of the school system, the prison system, the medical system, the food system, they're, driven by the wrong thing, to like either make a profit, but in a sense, the competitive mindset is being against each other, which means we have to fear each other, which means every human being is walking around like hoping that they're accepted and afraid not to mess up and judging themselves and judging other people and essentially becoming very disconnected, which is where the anxiety and the depression and all of it comes from, that sense of disconnection, where collaboration, which is what you do when you play Peace Sticks, is just about helping each other. So every time I throw the stick, I want to help you as much as I can. And you do the same. And when we help each other, we get into a rhythm and we play, and we're actually like energizing each other through the exchange of energy, which can also happen with our communication. It can happen with the project. And I think as human beings begin to embody the energy of collaboration and take that on as a worldview, we're going to be able to very easily create solutions to a lot of these things, because I feel the destruction is really like a product of the competition. And when we're in collaboration, it's also a lot easier to go into flow, because when you're afraid, your mind jumps in, the judgment jumps in. You're judging yourself, you're judging someone else, what went wrong, da 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 da. And that all takes us out of our basic ability to function, because our highest functioning as a human being is when we're in flow state. Like you see the best surfers in the world, or anyone doing something at their highest, whether it's an artist or whatever, even a scientist, they're in a flow state, which means they're not thinking about the past or the present. They're just being, and their energy is expressing in what they're doing. So I've also coached and taught like a lot. I coached my little brother's sports teams, and I've, done a lot of teaching in life. And I just love to see what a human being does when they're in the field of collaboration, to realize, oh, I don't have to judge myself. Like, this person's not going to say I'm bad or anything. And they're just going to keep supporting my energy to grow and learn. And all of a sudden you just like, it's like an ecosystem. It's the fungi and the flowers and the animals. And when one of them is healthy, the other one's healthy, and they just start sharing energy, and the whole thing becomes a vibrant ecosystem. So I really like to do my best to live that way in every choice that I make, and share that through the workshops and the energy of what we do with World Peace Tribe, and just support everyone's highest expression. And I think that really comes back to like tribal living, because when you're a tribe of people and you need to survive, you want everyone in the tribe to be the best they can be at what they're doing, because it's supporting you, it's supporting everyone in the tribe. So you like want the other hunters to be good hunters, and you want the cooks to be good, and you want the healers to be good. And so when we're all like celebrating each other, which is what the ceremony is, it's like you come together and you celebrate life and you build that chi together. Everyone thrives, and then even the humans thriving is connected to the ecosystem thriving. And the more we learned how to participate and collaborate with the ecosystem, the healthier that is. So I really feel that the indigenous wisdom of the planet holds so many of the keys to what we need to remedy the disconnection, and all of the destruction that comes from the disconnection. So the plant medicines, the peace sticks, the flow state, and hugs. Free food is actually a big part of our World Peace Tribe project. When I first opened the Peace Center in Nicaragua, I was like on the beach by myself going, okay, I've got a peace center. Like, what do I do? We were making peace sticks with the local people, but I was like, I'm going to give people food, because that is the easiest way to make friends. Like if you give a dog some food, it's your friend right away. And that was Alex like, yeah, I'm gonna go see this guy, And so I just started buying like tons of bananas and fruit. And every time anyone would come by, I just give them food, And I think it's just a really simple way to like show someone that you care about them and that you want to help their life. And good energy starts going from there. And I really am passionate about eating healthy, organic, local food, because that really does heal the whole ecosystem. If we grow it right and eat it and share it, it's like that's the cycle of life. Compost it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would love for you to share a little bit more about what's going on at the Peace Center and what your work is with the local people there, including if you want to share more about the art on your clothes and this piece behind us.
So we went to Peru, met this Shipibo family, we sat in ayahuasca ceremony with them the first night. It was just us and them, like 4 people, and had this incredible experience. He asked me to start singing, and I just like opened my mouth, and I just had like these ikaros. Ikaros are their songs. And most of it was not English, is just like sound and expression. And as I was like singing that, I was having these vivid like jungle experiences of like being a macaw and just feeling this like rainbow joy of flying through the jungle and different animals, and just like really becoming the jungle. And we had this we were taking turns singing. It was really magical. And as we were kind of like coming down from the medicine, and with ayahuasca, it goes through these phases, and usually after you're kind of at your peak visionary experience, there's this feeling of just alegria, of joy, and often some sharing about your visions. And so we started talking, and he was telling me that he wanted to open a healing center on their land, and I was telling him about Peace Sticks and World Peace Tribe, and we just had this incredible visioning session, and essentially chose to unite. And so we formed a peace center called Uni Kawa. And while we're there, we make peace sticks with the local people and pay them to make the sticks. And they do their indigenous art on the sticks, which is a lot of ayahuasca. Even the grandmas are always painting ayahuasca, icaros, and animals. And we do a community outreach to the children in the village, where we'll make a lot of food and come and play peace sticks with all the kids. And there's a lot of like orphans or children with single parents. And so we just go into the little center of the town and announce on their speaker, like, todos los niños que quiere comer, que quiere jugar, ven ahorita. And like kids start running from all over. And we just do this like beautiful day with all the kids and connect with them. And it's really cool. And we've planted a lot of edible and medicinal plants, and then also helping people from other countries who want to come there and heal with ayahuasca and other plants. There's a lot of different healers in the family that do like body work, prepare all different types of herbal remedies, and sit in ceremony with ayahuasca and just step out of the matrix for a bit and into the jungle and feel those vibrations. And definitely had the deepest unwinding of my mind and my being during the times there, because usually we'll sit in ceremony every other night. So you're really, really just, ayahuasca is such a powerful physical healing medicine where it's really cleaning out your intestines and working to clear emotional blocks and mental blocks and whatever you need to clear. That's what it does. It's like she goes in you and finds what needs to come out and helps it come out. And as it comes out, you feel lighter and brighter and more alive. So when you're doing that like every other night, and then you're just surrounded by the energy of their children and the nature, and you don't really have anything else to do except paint some pea sticks, or it just really illuminates the challenge psychologically of being in this culture. When we have a phone and we have emails and we have appointments and we've got a car and everything's electric, and I got to go here and I got to go here, and it's just like, it's so much mind, that it's kind of hard to just relax sometimes and drop in and feel the joy of being alive. And so to get to do that for the last 4 years for 2 or 3 weeks at a time has definitely been like a really beautiful experience. And last year we brought the first guest there, and we are in the process of raising money for a well. And I also talked with Heriberto, and they want to do like a big Christmas feast for all the kids in the village. So I told him that I was talking here tonight, and I just said I would mention that, and if anyone wants to donate any money, that will go towards feeding the kids and putting on a nice Christmas dinner for them. And if anyone wants to come to Uni Kawa, you can come. And if anyone wants to help it grow, it really is like a community project. So it's there for the people that want to go there. And there's a lot of visions and steps of how it's going to grow. And each person that comes there or donates is just building that up. But there's like such a big gift for anyone from this culture that chooses to go there. And just the frequency of the jungle and the frequency of the people and like their language and cooking all the food over the fire, and just living like, in a tribal way in some sense. Like they have Western influence. Some of them have cell phones. So it's not like you're in the middle of the Amazon with fully tribal people, but they still live like a tribe. Like their family works together in what they're doing, and they hang out with each other and they talk, and it's all the generations, and they're speaking their native language, and you can feel like the tribal energy and that connection. And it's really special to be part of it and be family with all of them. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And I would love for you to share a little bit more about the artwork. And it's so beautiful what you have. And I imagine some pieces may be available at your table as well.
Yeah. So one of the practices amongst the Shipibo women is to, they call it bordar. It's like to embroider. And it's really a form of meditation for them, because this is like all done by hand. So you can imagine how many hours, how many days it is to make something like this. And the art is inspired by the ayahuasca visions and these type of patterns and the animals. And these are like the ayahuasca leaves. But these are like very common images in an ayahuasca journey. So their art is an expression of the El Mundo de Ayahuasca, the world of ayahuasca. And the first time we went, I ended up like, we were in this little shack or a little like cabana that only had mosquito nets for all the walls. So like every time someone would walk by, it was just totally open. So I asked them, can you guys like bring some sheets or something? But they brought us like a whole bunch of these cloths. And so basically our whole little cabana was filled with these cloths. And so we'd be in ayahuasca ceremony and come home and like look at these and just feel the electricity. And they like to embroider their clothes. And I was just feeling so much joy there. And once I realized they could embroider my clothes, I just started giving them like all my clothes. I'm like, I just want to wear this all the time to like help me stay in the frequency. So I do. These are my like most elaborate ayahuasca pants, and they have some stains because they've been in a lot of ceremonies, but they're sacred.
No, I love it. I love that it's like your staple is like you're just wearing the ayahuasca leaves and vines. It's really beautiful and vibrant. And there is just such a feel-good vibration in this work.
Yeah, so we have I brought some cloths tonight that are for sale, and I do have a lot more. So if everything from a little one to a big one. I have one shirt over there, but it's good vibes for an altar or on your wall. Or they also wear like the cloths too, but yeah, it's good. And yeah, some of the women there, like they'll sometimes after a ceremony the next morning, they'll all come and bring their cloths. They will like fill an entire room with the cloths. Like there's just so many. And yeah, they really, when they want to become a shaman or a healer, their path is through dietas. And so a dieta is a period of time, usually like 3 or 6 months, where they'll eat like a very, very simple diet, and they'll choose another plant. Usually like their teacher will choose a plant for them, and they'll take that plant in either through a drink or some way every day, and usually sit with ayahuasca every other night, and then to form an alliance with the spirit of this other plant. And so usually that other plant will like give them a song and come to them in their dreams, and they'll kind of like get to know the spirit of this other plant, which becomes an ally for them to heal. So then if they want to heal somebody, they can sing the song of this plant and it will come for the healing. And as they progress as shamans, they're doing like dieta after dieta, and they start with what they call like las plantas menores, the minor plants, and then they're progressing to like more and more powerful plants as their allies. And so how their schooling is like the more dietas and plants you've made an alliance with, the higher kind of level shaman you are. And one of the women, Nuri, who's Heriberto's sister, she was telling me that she had done like 60 dietas, and each dieta is like 3 months to 6 months. Some are a year. And so I was thinking about them, like, you've been like on a dieta, drinking ayahuasca every other night for like most of your life. And during that time, embroidering all these cloths. And I was like, wow, what a like meditation and expression of beauty. So, yeah.
Have you had any of those direct experiences where someone is calling on the spirit of the plant that they're working with for a healing on you?
Yeah. Heriberto, that's like the main activity in the Shipibo ceremonies, is usually the master will sing the Icaros. And so when he's singing his Icaros, he's often calling on different plants and different energies. And yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate like your work with the Shipibo so much, and how you're bringing those tribal ways back home to us here, and sharing world peace ceremony, sharing peace sticks, and also sharing the medicine in the ways that you do. So I'd love to talk also about your mushroom chocolate and whatever other products you have available, rape.
Okay. Yeah. So, as you enter the world of plant medicine, it's a really vast world, and I've really enjoyed getting to like meet all of these different medicines. And I think I labeled this talk plant medicine, but as I was thinking about it, it's really like nature medicine, because there's medicine that comes from animals, from toads. There's medicine that comes from the fungi kingdom, comes from the plants. So, but there are so many things in nature that can really heal and help a human being. And most of them are like referred to as the master plants, because these plants actually like connect into our consciousness, where there's a lot of herbs that will heal you on a physical level, and you might have some change in your consciousness or sensation. But a lot of the master plants, it's like, that you are feeling the energy of this plant, and it is changing you, and it is aware and working with you. So yeah, our project Be Magic, has a few different medicines, and the main one is psilocybin, and we make both microdose and bigger journey. And I feel like psilocybin is kind of like, I don't know, God's general gift of plant medicine to the planet, because it grows almost everywhere. There's like over 226 species of psilocybin. It's extremely safe. You can't overdose on it. And it's just so helpful. I really feel it is like it's like the code to nature's internet. It's like you put it in you and all of a sudden you're like, "Bring. Oh yeah, I'm part of this. Oh yeah, I can feel this. I can hear this. I can like feel my friend." And you start, and as you go higher and higher in the dosage, the signal is stronger until at some point you are it. You are creation itself, which is what, as you go deeper in with some of the psychedelics, that is the place it ultimately brings you to, where there is no separation between you and consciousness itself. But yeah, psilocybin is awesome because you really can work with it at any level, from like a 0.1 microdose where you just feel a little extra energy and creativity and joy, up and up and up, to it's amazing for movement, for creative expression, for ceremony, for reflection, for connection. And as you go, even deeper and deeper, for some very like transcendent experiences and knowing life a little more from the other side. So yeah, we make psilocybin chocolates. All of our chocolate is organic and has raw honey and bee pollen, two other amazing medicines. My dad was a beekeeper when I was a kid, so we always had honey and bee pollen. And honey is an amazing carrier of medicines, and I really feel like it works well with the psilocybin. And we also put like 8 other medicinal mushrooms that support brain, immune system, kind of all the magic things that mushrooms do. We also make CBD just to help the nervous system. Not as psychedelic, not really psychedelic at all, but just a good healing energy for your nervous system. And San Pedro cactus, which is a heart-opening, nature-connecting. And we've also made some with Kana, which is a succulent from South Africa that is a little bit similar to MDMA. It's a heart-opening empathogen. So yeah, and yeah, I feel like the chocolates are just a really delicious way for people to kind of easily connect with some plants, because in this culture we don't necessarily come from, a life of ceremony or even learning about plant medicines. Most of us grew up thinking that they're bad and they're illegal and they're dangerous and like whatever misconceptions our culture has propagated. So the chocolate is just like a really easy, nice, delicious way to tune in with a plant medicine. And, I facilitate ceremonies, but also when I share them with people, especially if they're new, I just say, choose first how deep of a journey you want to go on, and then create your experience beforehand of like, do you want to go into nature, or do you want to set up a nice space in your room with some candles and music, but make it beautiful, make it as safe as you can. And just turn everything off and allow yourself to drop in with the medicine. And, with a microdose, you can go through your regular day, which is also pretty cool because your brain is open to forming new pathways. So sometimes you do the thing you've always done, which you kind of are bored of or you don't like it. And all of a sudden you like see it in a different way, and you make it fun, like you dance while you're washing the dishes and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'll make up the song. And like, so I think they really do help us to experience life with more wonder, like a little child, because you can build up all of these beliefs about what we are and what we do, which kind of dull the whole experience down. And so the mushrooms really, and a lot of the other plants, just kind of put us back into the miracle of like every single thing that's happening is a complete miracle. And when we start to feel it, we feel more happy and playful.
Beautiful. Well, I want to give the audience a little bit of space to be with their questions and curiosities. But one last thing that I want to talk to you about directly is your work with Bufo and yeah, how that medicine came to you and what are the ways you work with it now?
Yeah, Bufo is kind of the most recent medicine that I've connected with. And has anyone here experienced Bufo before? Okay, a lot. So if you know, then you know. I think if you've had a big enough amount of it, that yeah, I've read a lot about it since my couple of experiences, and it's essentially like a strong enough amount of energy in a short amount enough of time to like launch your consciousness out of the ego or the self or the sense of who you are, what you know, out of your context. And that in some ways is kind of the scariest thing possible, because as an identified self, we're always wanting to preserve ourselves. You know, we want to like know what's happening, and we want to be safe, and we want to have a plan, and we're doing everything we can to like be here now and survive. And so for a moment to feel like this thing is taking me beyond that, and that is going to cease to exist, is perhaps one of the scariest things that the ego can face. But when you get past it, what I experienced was essentially like energy opening and expanding, as if everything I'd known was in a certain little wall or space or room, and all of a sudden like the walls are off and it's going out, and you're like, whoa, and then the walls go off again, and you go, whoa, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and you realize like it's not going to stop, and you're just literally feeling infinite expansion and energy, and you're completely you are as big as it can be, which is infinite, and you're feeling that much energy and that much love, and it's just like, oh my God, the biggest oh my God times like a million is pretty insane. They say it's the most powerful psychedelic known. But when you come back from that, I had a moment when I was like seeing myself kind of like reassemble, like it start to like be like, oh, I'm here, here's my body, I'm back into this room. There was a knowing that like the consciousness is creating the physical. And I also had that when it was opening, I felt like kind of everything that usually hurts in my body, or all the tension or all the fear, it was like going, just releasing and releasing. And so as coming back in, there was some knowing that like as source itself, I am creating myself, and that it is possible to like create myself differently than I might have been creating myself with a limited understanding of what I am. And I think just kind of returning to that knowing of what we are and what this is through life is a powerful reference point. One love.
Yeah. Well, for about the next 15 or 20 minutes, we'll give space for the audience and their questions. And when it's your turn for your question, you're going to proudly speak into the mic. And that's so we can capture the audio for our online audience too. Thank you.
So Shane, I'm curious about the actual dynamics of the stick exchange. Do I have one stick? Do I have two sticks? You have two sticks? And how does that work?
Usually each person has one stick, and we throw them at the same time. I mean, I did think about doing it here with Hannah. We could do it. We have some. All right, here he goes.
See what you did that piece. I like to play on the ball because, like, are you walk drop and you play on Dakar? So there's a lot more to this. The basic form, we're just gonna throw it to each other at the same time, and usually we do a bit of music, maybe color on them. this will do it right.
I saw this coming.
Eating pop.
That's just beautiful to watch.
So it's like a martial art, and like you can play it with one stick with a little kid. You can even play it with a baby where you don't throw the stick. So it's always about connecting with the person who you're with and finding how is it going to work together, and always starting from like a really easy place. And it's like an infinite movement form where you can add more sticks. You can throw them with more energy. You can make them spin. You can go behind your back. Like you can really go into like full ninja mode. And I love it because of that, because you can challenge yourself to infinity with it and really go into these like incredible flow states where like I've had moments where I'm catching sticks without even seeing the sticks and just watching my body do incredible stuff. Because when you play with 3 or 4 sticks, you have sticks going and sometimes you're picking them up off the ground. So there's all these different combinations of what your body needs to do in order to respond to what's coming at you and give it back. And yeah, it's really profound experience. Yeah. Thanks for the question. You got a really good answer for it.
Sure.
So on the flyer for this evening, it says you're a life force guide, I think it said. And I was curious if you had anything to share about like how I feel like you talked about it here and there in this talk, but I feel curious about your relationship to life force and like cultivating that and the vitality that I observe you really like bringing into your body and life.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a really profound like learning experience right after I was almost graduated from college, and my sister had been very sick, and she went to see these 2 healing brothers that were kind of like wizards, like alternative healers. I mean, they looked like wizards when I got there. And, I was just home from college on a weekend. But anyhow, they talked to us for a few hours about how they cultivate energy. And they were saying like, you cultivate energy through your breath and through connecting with the energy of the sun and through eating sprouted seeds. And they said they wake up every morning at like 4 and they do energizing exercise, which is like yoga and qigong. And then as they cultivate a lot of qi through their presence, and they can share that qi with someone else and heal them. And they asked us to drop into a meditation with them, and they channeled qi into my sister. And there's more to the story, but she started getting better after that. And they gave me a book list. They gave us all a book list, and they're like, every human can do this. We all are energy. And actually, a few days after that, or maybe it was like the night after, I went back to San Diego, and I was smoking ganja with a friend through a bong. I smoked some ganja, and she was asking me about my life, and I started like telling her, and I was kind of going back towards early childhood. And I had this moment where I was just like, hold on for a second. And I'm like this. And I really felt my energy or my chi come up out of the back of the top of my head and go into space. And I felt myself, separate from my body, and I could see my spirit like moving through space. And it was the first time I'd experienced something like that. And the next day when I went surfing, I could like feel the energy of the waves coming from like a long ways away. And I was like, whoa, I can like really feel the energy. And then I was walking on the boardwalk and I could feel people's energy. And so shortly after I graduated college, I was going to go back to grad school and get my PhD in biology. But my friend like said, hey, why don't you go take the year off and go surfing? I'm like, hey, good idea. So I did that, and I started ordering all these books off of this list and started practicing Qigong and Tai Chi and meditation and yoga, and really like eating the most natural food I could, and traveling and surfing. And I just never went back to college because I was like learning much more impactful things. And so I do my best to live my life in a way that is cultivating good energy through my thoughts and the food and friends and the whole experience.
Thank you.
Yeah. Break it on the mic.
Hi, Sean. I'm Jack. In the spirit of community, I like to know how you guys came together, because you're bringing your community to us and expanding this, and Hannah is a mainstay of this community. So I'd like to know about that synergy, if I may.
Yeah. Our friend Sky right here, who just asked the question. So I've been friends with Sky for a few years, and she was friends with Shine and working in ceremony space with him. And all the time, Sky was like going to Ojai to like do ceremony with Shine. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're going to Ojai all the time to do ceremony with Shine? Like, that's a person for real? And I had literally no context of like who you were. It was just like, Sky was always going to Ojai for ceremony. And then so, yeah, but a lot of friends in my community knew Shine, and like they have like history in community. And one day your music video gets put on YouTube on the big screen. A reason why they're green. They're like, he's dressed up as George Washington in this video. And so my friends are in the white wig and everything. And my friends are like, that's Shine. And I'm like, that's Shine? What do you mean? And so it really took a while for you to land in my reality. Like, you were a mystery character through my friendship with Sky. Shine doesn't know this story. He's never heard this before. And then he would, because this was also while you were traveling, like you were in and out of town. And then you started to come back and offer peace sticks at Ecstatic Dance. And I feel like that's when we had a real introduction and a real landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, and Shine is an amazing musician. His artist name is Shining Lion Music. It's very high vibe, like reggae inspired music about all the amazing things we've been talking about. So check out his music videos on YouTube or his music on Spotify.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that, so I'm talking now. But yeah, so much of my music has been inspired by plant medicine, and so many of the songs come through during ceremony. And I just feel like the medicines really open up the river of creativity. Like I'm singing through my life most of the time, or rapping, or just making some songs up. But when I'm with a plant medicine, it's like the channel opens a lot more. And when I'm singing or playing instruments, just really like feeling so much energy come through. And yeah, a lot of my favorite songs have definitely come through in ceremonies. And yeah, and we've made some fun and funny music videos, so check those out.
Yeah, and all of his music is perfect to play peace sticks to.
Yeah.
That's my favorite combo.
Designed for pieces.
Hi, I have the microphone. I'm Kay. I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, well, you mentioned that you have a child, is that right?
Yeah.
So what does family life look like for you, and how does plant medicine play a role in that?
Well, yeah, I talked to both of my kids. My oldest son actually just started college, and we had some really good talk. We actually did a mushroom ceremony together, him and I. We did 2 of them before he went to college out in nature. And yeah, it was just really I was remembering back to when I went to college and just knowing that like the main thing that kids do in college is drink alcohol. And especially as you go through life and you get to know the other plant medicines, for me, alcohol was just going the opposite direction of hurting my body, where these other things were helping me and hurting my consciousness. And so I totally stopped drinking alcohol like 20 something years ago. And so, yeah, we just talked about that a lot. I'm like, Paco, that's what all your friends, most people are going to be doing that. And I'm sure you're going to do that some. Like, I know he drinks alcohol sometimes with his friends, but yeah, just really talking to him about psilocybin and other plants, and that there really are healing allies, and just encouraging him to go into nature and, invite some friends, because I just feel like it's such a more enriching, healthy way to experience, because all humans want to have some sort of initiation and experience themselves in different ways. And so they're going to seek that out. And if alcohol is the main thing put in front of everyone and they think that's what we do, then they do it. But everyone also who has had a mushroom experience pretty much really likes that. And once you realize like, oh, I could do this, and I could get to know myself and get to know my friends and understand my relationship to life through these other medicines that are actually really good for me and really help me. Yeah, I talked to my younger son, Aleka. I think his mom and I sat in ayahuasca ceremony when he was in the belly. And yeah, so he knows a lot about plant medicine, and he's just like he's an incredibly wise, beautiful being, and really likes to philosophize about the whole experience of life. But yeah, he's had little touches of plant medicine here and there. And but as I started sitting in the Native American church ceremonies, I read some books, and they get, and ayahuasca, both those tribes consider that as purely healing medicine that they will give to babies. They'll give it to the kids. Pregnant moms will drink it. Peyote sometimes is used at childbirth. So they have the complete opposite perspective to those medicines than in the Western culture, what we're taught, that these really are some of the best things we can put in our body that are going to help us more than anything else. And so I feel, I really embrace that. And it's a truth that I share with my children. And I'm happy that we are in a time right now when it's like the consciousness is expanding, and most people now know about microdosing and have a different perspective than, not too long ago, with everyone's believing the propaganda. And yeah, I think I was listening to a Terence McKenna quote, and it's saying, the systems do not like psychedelics because psychedelics help us to dissolve the belief systems and see the truth and experience the truth of what it actually is to be alive. And once we know that, we're not going to participate in a law that makes no sense just because someone made it up, or a way of living that makes no sense, a way of consumerism and drinking alcohol and buying stuff and rushing and, watching TV and this whole consumer insanity. You're not going to go along with it because that, wow, this feeling of nature of truth is so infinitely better. It just feels better. So, yeah. Viva la medicina.
Do you want to speak to as well, like your living situation? Because that is a unique experience for your children to have more tribal ways at home too.
Yeah. Yeah. I live in a geodesic dome and I live on a community in Ojai. So yeah, especially like a lake, I pretty much have lived there his whole life. And he just has really close relationships with all of these other awesome adults. And we're not doing it now, but we used to always like have community circles and just being around other conscious human beings that are into growing plants and doing art and making music and living outside of the mainstream. And I've taught a lot. I've done a lot of academic teaching, and I really believe that human beings, the natural way for a human being to learn is just to be around people living. That's how the kids in a tribe learn. They're around their mom and their mom's cooking. So they walk over and they start cooking, or they make the fire, or they go hunting, or whatever it is. But it's not this artificial thing where you're like, here, sit in the same spot and like write on a piece of paper that you don't care about again and again and again and again. And if you don't, you're stupid and you're bad. I'm like, that's a quick way to like shut a human being down. So, I'm all about just like real life experiences, doing real things in nature with my kids. That's really been like, I don't know, of all the parenting tips I could possibly get, it's like, go into nature with your kids. Like take your kid and just go on a walk or go camping and make a fire, because it's hard to be a parent when you're amidst the other thing, when you're amidst the technology and you're amidst the culture and the consumerism. Like your kids are going to see all that and they're going to be attracted to it because it's designed to be attractive. And sometimes to find like the deep connection that I want with my kids is more challenging in those spaces. But like when we go into nature, like even my son Paco, when he's a teenager, like, sometimes I'd see him and he would just kind of be like in that teenage phase where he didn't really want to get too excited about anything or really connect that deeply. And, ask him how everything is. Like, yeah, it's fine. How's it going? Yeah, it's good. But there's not much opening, but when we go into nature and we start building a fire, now he's building the fire, and we're sitting around the fire and just the energy just changes. So, nature is good.
We have space for one more question from the audience. Cool.
I had another one.
Okay.
Do you feel like at any point in your life there's not been a space for plant or nature medicine? Or do you see like in the future that
I mean, I'm not like super high every day, just like most of the time. I do once in a while, like I take a day off, or like at least half the day, the morning or something. No, I'm just joking. No, I still operate in Babylon and the Matrix too. Like I still send emails and text messages and plan things and pay bills and all those things. So there's many days, when I just want to be doing the things I need to do to maintain good relationship with all the things I'm responsible for in my life. And that's a really powerful teaching through the like Native American church, but even the Shipibo, it's like the responsibility to care for life and like to be an adult and do the things you need to do well and not like hold back. Just go like, okay, this is what I need to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to learn how to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stay consistent and be there like to provide the best I can for my kids and all my relationships and speak the truth. And so, I like to live like that. And different plants at different times when they're needed or when I feel like it. And I mean, honestly, I probably do connect with some plant medicine every day. Like I work with hape pretty often, and I work with mambe, which is like a ground coca leaf from the mountains in the South America. That's just like a really clean energy source and really good for communication. So those two are, I can still like be pretty functional on a psilocybin microdose through my day. And a lot of times I really love playing peace sticks with some plant medicine. I've had moments of just transcendental flow state. And I've surfed with some plant medicines and had some incredible experiences. So, I mean, in many ways, I've observed myself functioning better beyond regular capacity with some of the plant medicines, where my mind is working better, my body's working better, and I'm more happy. And so, which I think goes back to why these cultures call them like the medicines, the gifts of the creator, because they really do something special for us, that helps us. But yes, there's a balance, of course, and a listening to when certain things are good. I did a combo ceremony. Right here. Last week, I had felt kind of like a little bit sick. I don't know if it's from the chemtrails or stuff in the water from surfing, but I woke up and we did a 2-day peace sticks immersion this weekend. And so I knew I had that coming up, and I just woke up and I felt congested and just kind of low energy, and it just came to me like, oh, combo. And so I just got up. Went in and started getting out the materials, and I was by myself, and I have served myself combo before, but it is helpful to have another person during the process. So I asked my neighbor, and he came over, and mostly I did the process myself, but I instructed him how to help me and flip the dots. And for those of you who want to know about combo, it's not a very strong visual psychedelic, but it is a really, really deep healing and cleansing of the body. And in many ways, it kind of feels like you're dying or you've been poisoned. Your heart's going fast and you get really dry and your face swells up, and drink all this water before you do it. And you're going to throw that up. And it's a pretty uncomfortable, sometimes painful experience for, 20 to 30 minutes. But it really cleans your system. I felt so much better. And my face was really puffy that whole day. Your face actually can swell up and look like a frog. It's pretty funny. But even the next day it was kind of swollen. But then after it was crazy. I was eating berries afterwards. My sense of taste was so bright and acute, and I was seeing colors brighter, and I just felt lighter and wow, this really cleared out some stuff from my system that was interfering. And so it's just, they're profound, a lot of times when I feel like I'm getting weighed down in my mind or my body is a sign to sit with a medicine and welcome its perspective to help me understand what's happening in my life or my emotions and clear my system physically. And
So I have to ask, because you're so much into surfing being part of your life.
Yeah.
Do you take plant medicine before you go surfing?
Yeah. Not always, but sometimes I'll put some mambe, or sometimes I'll do a hape meditation, or sometimes a microdose. And I've had some different. I've had a few sessions where I had a bigger dose of mushroom surfing, and it was amazing. Really good. I remember surfing in Bali this one time, and Bali has some pretty cool magic mushrooms, and we got some and I ate them, and I was on the beach and just feeling the energy of the waves. It was a really beautiful beach, and I wasn't planning on surfing, but I noticed that the wave on that beach was starting to get kind of good. It was little, but no one was out, and I went out, and it's a wave called Padang Padang, which is normally a really heavy wave, and it was breaking really shallow over the reef, but I was the only person out, and it was small but really powerful, and I was surfing by myself in this sunset, and it was really beautiful and fun.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Shine our change your lens questions, which are rapid fire style.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is just to share really the first thing that comes to mind. And then he's going to close out the night with another beautiful song. So my first question for you is, who has been your greatest influence and why?
Bob Marley. My mom went to see a Bob Marley concert when she was pregnant with me at the Santa Barbara Bowl.
Wow.
And yeah, I've just listened to so much Bob Marley music and just feel it. And it really, really puts me in a good energy. And his music is prayer. You know, his music is praying for life itself. And he's a teacher of truth that has touched a lot of people. So, one love.
And if you were stranded on an island and could only bring one book, what would you be reading?
I probably would write a book.
I love that answer.
I'm actually writing a couple of books right now.
Yeah, beautiful. And on this same stranded island, you have one album that you can listen to. What are you listening to?
Hello. It's a tough question. Maybe like Bob Marley, Survival, or I don't know. It's too tough of a question. Next one.
That feels fitting. What is your perception of life beyond this incarnation? And how do you feel psychedelics have influenced your relationship to death?
Well, it's given me peace and like a direct experience of that connection or sense of oneness, and that literally that we are it. We are the source that is creating us, and everything we experience here in the physical, that it is the same, and that consciousness that's creating all of it is us. And it's an interesting one to be like in a physical body and have an ego, because it's kind of hard to like bring back to here. But there's moments with the plant medicine where you know that and you're experiencing it, and which is where I think a lot of like the affirmation and prayer and things come in, that it's like, and the idea that we create our reality, that we're not only like an actor in the play, we are also like the playwright, because we are at the source. And it's a fun one to like experiment with in life, and see how our words, our prayers, our visions can manifest into the physical.
And if you could sit in a plant medicine ceremony with any medicine and with anyone, dead or alive, who would be there, and what are you journeying with?
Bob Marley. Maybe Bob Marley, ayahuasca. Because I mean, I love to play music with ayahuasca. Like my experience with music and ayahuasca is just incredible. Like hearing it and playing it. So like to jam with him and sing some reggae Icaros, that'll be all time.
Love that. It's your next album.
It's kind of all my albums, actually.
And my final question for you is, to the best of your ability, can you please describe the nature of consciousness?
Nature of consciousness. Yeah, loving awareness. It's like experience itself. It's like just as we remember what the experience, it is remembering, recording, experiencing, and just unfolding into the infinite possibilities of itself. Rainbows.
One love. Well, thank you, Shine, for joining us tonight at the District House. It's been so sweet to tune in with you. And I will let you close us out with one final song.
Okay. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. One, all is one. Oh, one, all is one. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. My education began on a spaceship unplanned. They said, take this, my man, this device in your hand. Now inhale slowly, 'cause this is holy. The journey began, and I called out, hold me. They said, I got you, my brother. Just give in to the mother. Okay, I won't say here. Said, I got you, my brother. Just give in to the mother. Surrender completely. My heart was still beating. I escaped like a spark at the top of the teepee. I completely erased into infinite space, infinite love and infinite grace, infinite sight into infinite might, conscious awareness of all that exists, listening to the symphony of the bliss, forever forgiven in this forever living source of life. Source of life. Oh, eternal forgiveness from the forever living source of all life. Oh, every cell singing hallelujah to Jah kingdom. Yes, every cell singing hallelujah to Jah kingdom. Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Everybody. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Yes, one, all is one. Love again. One, all is a one. Love. Well, who could have known that the back of a toad could hold the molecule to cause the whole thing to explode? It was God a la mode. It was out of control. It was Atman the soul. It was Brahman the whole. Well, Christ Krishna consciousness kissing cosmic lips, eclipsing universes, making love with all that is. Now how am I gonna explain this one to my kids? Release within release, within release, within release. Lotus flowers blooming from above and beneath, for the left and the right side, the front and the back side. My ego just died and I went for a ride. Bufo took me through the roof, yo, now I see the stars. Now I know the truth of who we are, yeah. Bufo took me through the roof, yo, now I see the stars. Now I know the truth of who we are. infinite expansion. Now I'm chilling in the mansion of the Most High. Closed eyes. Infinite expansion. Now I'm chilling in the mansion of the Most High. But this mansion has no walls. Just imagine if we are the all. But there ain't no imagining, this is what is happening. Now I'm in a state of awe. Tat Sat Hari Tat Sat Hari Tat Sat Hari Tat Sat Hari One, all is one. One, all is one. Ever living, ever loving, eternal essence. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresence. Ever living, ever loving, eternal essence. Omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresence. Tat Sat Hari Tat Sat. One, all is one. Love. One, all is love. Oh, go. Oh, show. Yeah.